Hello and welcome to the Ideal Investor Show. My name is Axel Meyerhöfer and I'm the host of the Ideal Investor Show, where we show you the path to early retirement. And I'm really excited to start this show today and really help you understand what this show is all about, what we want to accomplish, and how we actually got here. But before I start with that, I want to talk to you a little bit about what did I do? Where do I come from? Where does the strategy that we developed actually evolve from? So my name, like I said, is Axel Meyerhöfer. I was for 22 years in the Air Force, flying fighter jets, initially in Germany. And then 26 years ago, we came over from Germany to the United States, and I joined the Hounds of Heaven, as we were called at the time, to fly F-111 fighter jets and be the Assistant Director of Operations of a US fighter wing. And that whole engagement took 6 years and brought me to the point where the question was, do I retire from the Air Force and go back to Germany, or do I stay with my family in the United States? And the decision was made very quickly and easy for me because I found somebody who wanted to employ me in his software company in Santa Barbara. So we moved there and I became an executive in the company for several years. And then in 2005, I started my own consulting business. And that was the transition to start thinking about what we're talking about today, the Ideal Investor Show. Because for me, the question became, as a business owner, how can and what do I need to do to actually create some sort of retirement income and safety for retirement? Because I knew my consulting company is basically a practice that may or may not be sellable in the future. And so without knowing if I could ever sell it for a large amount of money, the question became, what could I do to build basically my own retirement? And I looked around, and keep in mind, in 2005, we were just 2 years removed from one of the biggest stock market crashes. So stocks didn't really seem to be the right thing for me. And I decided, based on the experience from the military, having been moving around, having lived in many places, that real estate would be a good thing. And we started by buying a house in the Santa Barbara area for ourselves and see how that process actually works in the United States and how that actually works in California. And so from there, as we kept looking into and I started studying retirement options and using real estate for retirement, I actually learned one really important lesson from Warren Buffett. And as you may have heard many, many times, he always preaches to say, we should stick with the things we understand. And what I became to understand was what is called the residential real estate market, in the sense of what the government actually supports, where the term ideal as an acronym comes from. And in our show, I'm looking forward to talk to you about what does ideal really mean and how can it help you to shorten the time for early retirement for yourself. But for us, what it really meant is, if we apply that, then we would be looking to buy single family homes, duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes, because those are most supported by the government. So with that, I started investing in that direction by basically renting out the property that we had bought in the Santa Barbara area when we moved the family to Santa Fe, New Mexico. So we had the first big rental property in Santa Barbara and our own house in New Mexico. And as I was talking with people about what am I doing, how is my business going, and how is retirement going, this real estate engagement came up more and more, and I became more and more knowledgeable because I really got fascinated about it. I really have energy about it. I really wanted to know more and more and more, and that's what we actually want to share with you here on the Ideal Investor Show. So how are we going to actually go about this is, well, it became pretty obvious. And by the way, now we're living in San Diego, back in California, and anywhere on the coast, whether it's the West Coast, the East Coast, somewhere in the Florida area and so forth, whenever you are close to the coast, it's oftentimes very expensive to own real estate, or especially to own real estate as an investment. So we were starting to look, and my research showed that real estate in other states, what's called the Midwestern states and the Southern states, is more affordable and can actually reach performance goals, which we will go into as we have more and more episodes on the Ideal Investor Show for you in the future. So the strategy that we developed is called out of state turnkey residential real estate investing strategy. And I understand that's a mouthful, but what it really means, if you dissect it, out of state means we are living in California, but we're investing in states where the performance is good and where the properties are anywhere between $100,000 and $200,000 and not the crazy prices we have here. Turnkey means we need somebody who helps us find the properties, bring the properties into a really good state, or maybe even offer us new, completely fresh, new build properties that then actually get rented by tenants. And we need somebody to manage those properties and do the whole interaction with the tenants when they have any repair or to collect the rent and all of those kind of things. So that term turnkey that we're using really focuses on the few organizations, and we have a handful that we're working with, who actually provide all these services. They find the property, they renovate it, they actually sell it to us, they manage it for us, and at the end of the month, they send us the passive income, which we want to ultimately use so we can retire early. That's the whole idea. So am I always going to talk to you one-on-one as we're doing right now in this very first show explaining? No. The idea of the show is to bring in really cool guests who have their own way or some adjacent ways of how they build their retirement, how they may even have reached early retirement already, or what they're doing in investing. Now, we will probably have a dominance of guests who have something in the area of real estate, whether it's the same residential real estate like we do, or they might do multifamily apartment complexes. I have recently spoken to somebody who is actually into the storage units. I know some people who have trailer parks. So there's a ton of different ways how real estate investing can actually be used to get you to your early retirement. And I want to introduce one thing kind of juicy for those of you who actually want to look forward to something. What I actually mean by early retirement is a term that I have coined, and it's called the time freedom point. And what I want you to understand with the time freedom point, it's the point on the calendar somewhere in the future, and it's different for every person, where you make enough passive income from your investments so you no longer have to go to work, you no longer have to exchange time for money, and you have the freedom to decide, what do I want to do with my time? And that might be you doing something that you really like in your job, and you say, I only do that half time. Or you may not like your job that much anymore, and you say, no, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to do something I'm passionate about. Like I'm passionate about gardening. Other people are passionate about painting. Other people are passionate about traveling. Again, other people are fascinated by technology, and on and on and on. So to have the freedom to do with your time what you are really passionate about is when you reach the time freedom point. And that's what we mean. We want to help you to get information, get ideas, get input from our guests and from me to find out what can you do to reach the time freedom point. And for that, we will bring in guests. And they are not all around real estate. There might be people who say, well, stock investing is a particular kind of investing, or maybe gold or value assets, or maybe resources. Like some people say uranium for nuclear power plants and lithium for EV cars will be really great place in the future. Even all the way to crypto investing, is Ethereum or Bitcoin the next money that we are going to use? So those will be the different kinds of guests that we bring in and interview them. What are they doing and what can they recommend and what are their experiences? And at the same time, I'm going to give you our input on how our out-of-state turnkey residential real estate investing strategy can work for you. And the main push for our show is really to help you to get over that hump where you might say, yeah, I know I need to do something. I want to do something. I just don't know about two things. I don't know how to get started and who is going to help me. And that's what I'm here for you, and our guests will be here for you. So I hope you will come to many, many of our episodes in the future and gather all that information. If you ever feel you like to talk to us directly, just go to the Ideal Wealth Grower website or YouTube channel or our podcast, and we're always going to have contact information available for you. So I'm looking forward to see many of you and hear from many of you in the future episode of the Ideal Investor Show, where we show you the path to early retirement. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Ideal Investor Show. More info and the links we mentioned during the show are in the show notes, or you can go to our website at idealwealthgrower.com and find them there. Sign up for the Apple Podcast link, the RSS feed, the Spotify link, and if you like to talk to me, please sign up for a strategy call at idealwealthgrower.com. So hopefully you want to share what you learned with your network and bring more people in. We are really eager to hear your comments. And until next time, be well, stay safe, and ciao.